Breaking news, over 100,000 cases of cancer are linked to contaminants in the tap water, according to a new study. From the fluoride to the hexachromate to the lead to the arsenic to the fluoride, ladies and gentlemen, it says harmful if swallowed or ingested. It's got poison written on it, but they dump it in the municipal water supply and say it's for your teeth. They say the vaccines are for your safety, that the GMOs, the pesticides, are for your safety as well. They say the geoengineering is for your safety. It's all to protect you, ladies and gentlemen, in this upside down world where good is evil and evil is good. The poison is there to protect you. And of course, you're a hater, you're a terrorist for being concerned. And, you know, we haven't even talked about the 5G in quite some time. We haven't talked about all of the cancer clusters near these cell towers. All you can think about is the shocking state of the nation. Look at these Nazis, you know, just basically stroll down the runway. You just couldn't make this shit up. I mean, they got the SS uniform on right now, and they're calling you the hater. Look at this shit. What is it? It's androgynous, and that's the point. It's duplicitous. It's confusing. It is of the dark side. It is what it is out there, and it's certainly not your imagination. There's a lot of stories to cover, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Boston Dynamics has released a new video. Check out the future Terminator. You know, it's doing gymnastics, a perfect 10. Look at that. It's ready for combat, pretty much. And of course, this is just tier 1 technology. This is what they show you. But they have things that are much more sophisticated than that. It's most likely like Westworld already, ladies and gentlemen. How many people out there remember the Hillary Clinton collapse in 2016? And we're going to be talking about that a little bit. It seems like they found some secret servers, some secret Hillary servers in Ukraine. That could have been really the big headline for today. And we've learned this through the whistleblower report, among other things. There's plenty of guilt to spread around, and we certainly don't want to be partisan. So we'll talk about everybody's skeletons in the closet. Who's skull and bones, ladies and gentlemen? Who's part of this beast system? Besta Pizza. Look at that, with the pedophile symbolism. Of course, you know, they're using the pedophile symbolism that was warned about in the FBI documents. Do you think the FBI went and arrested these people? No, instead they're like the Gestapo, like the secret police for the imperial masters. And they're just there to cover up the crimes, ladies and gentlemen. And it's really a threat to our democracy and to our way of life. We need to go back to the centralized government the way it was back in the 1800s, where basically it was even with the states. Now it's become something quite different, to say the least. Now, we're going to be talking about this new intelligence report that's come out, the whistleblower report, the information that we've gathered, as well as other news, to say the least here. Disturbing state of affairs in America. Let's see, where should we begin? The OK hand gesture, the bowl cut, has now been added to hate symbols. And as far as we can tell, the the OK hand gesture is really a 666 hand gesture. And that means that, of course, this president is now on the terror watch list. EPA said drinking water in several cities have been found to have levels of arsenic, lead, radioactive substances above established limits. U.S. government blames the homeless for the radioactive isotopes in the tap water. Can you believe that? They're always kicking the can. It's always somebody else's fault. And as long as nobody goes to prison, then things are going to continue, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the big thing. I mean, they can fine each other. You know, the beast system can fine itself, fine the corporations, and pocket the money. But until somebody goes to prison, nothing is going to change. Majority of House members now back impeachment against Trump. What is going on here? As far as we can tell, impeachment in the House of Representatives is going to reach Bill Clinton status here in just a few short weeks. And they're on the express ticket to hell. And of course, the hearings have begun. They've had plenty of practice over the last 2 years, and you'd think, it was over. Oh no, it wasn't over. Ladies and gentlemen, this president was either set up or willfully, just went out there and conspired with the Ukrainians to meddle in U.S. elections. You'd think that there could have been some other way, that they could have done it just through the Department of Justice. But no, they actually had the president call and pressure Zelensky on tape. It's going to be like the Nixon tapes. We wouldn't be surprised if there was a resignation at the end of this. It's that bad out there. It looks real bad, but there's plenty of guilt to spread around. Trump attacks whistleblowers, sources, and promises punishment for spies. So it already looks like it's going into the worst case scenario. And at this stage, it just wouldn't be prudent to comment on where things go from here. But you can bet that the worst is yet to come. Whistleblower is a CIA officer, was detailed to the White House. Now, partisan or not, we're going to go over the whistleblower report with you, ladies and gentlemen. And as uninteresting as that might seem, there is quite a bit of information there. If you're just joining us, over 100,000 cancer cases linked to the tap water just by itself, not to mention the death towers, not to mention the GMO poisoning, the pesticides, the vaccines, as well as the pollution. Air pollution contaminants are a leading killer in this country, and hardly anybody knows it. Do the research. It's not about the temperatures, it's about, what's in the air. So let's see if we can breeze through this. Over the past 4 months, more than half a dozen U.S. officials have informed this officer of various facts related to the effort. And that effort was that the president's personal lawyer, Giuliani, and Attorney General Barr, were colluding to interfere with the 2020 elections. And they were soliciting interference from a foreign country. So this is a very grave affair. And, you'd think it's no big deal, but after the whole Russia thing, you'd think they'd be a little more careful. It smells like a setup. And of course, with this president's ego, you can't imagine that they're going to admit anything like that anytime soon. But it looks like he was set up. Or he is the, a stupido Maximus for doing something like this on, the White House phone. Hey there, President of Ukraine, look, if you want any more money, you better be investigating Biden. That should have been done a way different way. I'm sure they've learned their lesson now. But there's more, because they're saying that they actually, covered up the transcripts and moved that information to a secured server where usually, operation codename kind of black projects are there. And so there's a lot of substance now, much more than during the Russia investigation. This is much more serious because they've pretty much admitted to it, every one of them, and they tried to cover it up. And it's just like, signed, sealed, and delivered. If this isn't some kind of setup, I don't know what this is. But we should say that there's plenty of reason to suspect a major Gladio B event is coming and in the works right now. And there would be plenty of breadcrumbs to follow as they move pieces into position. They say that they're deeply concerned that the actions described below constitute a serious or flagrant problem, abuse, or violation of law or executive order that does not include difference of opinions concerning public policy matters. To the best of his knowledge, the entirety of this statement is unclassified. Let's see. In the 25th of July presidential phone call, early in the morning of July 25th, the president spoke by telephone with Ukrainian President Zelensky. I do not know which side initiated the call. This was the first publicly acknowledged call between the two letters since a brief congratulatory call. Now, there is some discussion about this information being secondhand. However, as far as we can tell, as was revealed in today's congressional hearings, that these facts have been confirmed by the Office of the Inspector General. That might be a lot of, words for some people out there. Multiple White House officials with direct knowledge of the call informed this officer that after an initial exchange of pleasantries, the president used the remainder of the call to advance his personal interests. That seemed to be confirmed by what was released yesterday, the transcripts of the call between the two presidents. Namely, he sought to pressure the Ukrainian leader to take some action to help the president's 2020 re-election bid. Now, if they were concerned of illegal activity, you'd think that it would just go through normal DOJ kind of protocols. Now, we're suspecting that during the first 2.5 years of this administration, they tried doing that, and it failed miserably because the acting president of Ukraine at that time was an Obama puppet. So, and there were many, remnants of those Obama puppets there. So it seems like they probably exhausted traditional ways to get this investigation going and started to apply, pressure right at the top, including, funds and the like. Is that a little excessive? Perhaps do I personally find that shocking in the pursuit of justice? If there truly is a story there, I think it's okay. And this would fall under, journalism, whistleblowing, do-gooderism. So that idea is not shocking. However, this idea of soliciting a foreign government to interfere for the sake of an election and not just a regular criminal prosecution is a little shocking. I think what's interesting so far in what's been released, and we'll kind of cover this hopefully, is that it seems like they discovered that there are Hillary secret servers in Ukraine. So they were basically being housed, offshore in a real dark place in terms of the internet is concerned. A lot of the dark web runs through Ukraine and the like. It's kind of like, the Wild West, if you will. And so this would be on top of the servers from the 2016, election. The servers in her closet that were, bleach bitted, whitewashed, etc. What would they do with these servers? Would they actually, prosecute Hillary then? I doubt it, because there's already an orgy of evidence. And I think what could easily be dismissed as stupidity is really part of the program. And, in Poli-Sci 101, they basically tell you there is no such thing as accidental in politics. It's all part of a script. It's all part of the program. I know we got more news, but we just want to cover this particular whistleblower report. Multiple White House officials with direct knowledge of the call said that they were applying pressure, trying to get to the source of the Russian interference allegations, which seem to have originated in Ukraine for some reason. Ukraine is a huge link in the chain, and we've focused on it ever since the revolution over there, the civil war that was initiated after Snowden was granted asylum by the Russians. And it seemed like that was, quid pro quo, or tit for tat, if you will, for Russian asylum for Snowden. And so they started a revolution in Russia's back door, and then that didn't really work out as planned, so they went to Syria, and it kind of got ugly, and then here comes the new administration. So it's really interesting. We've seen, Manafort, the Podestas, everybody seems to have business interests in Ukraine. Lots of, dark web money out there. Lots of corruption that they're talking about. And it really is the Wild West. So I think that's a real interesting angle to this report. It's done so candidly, and I think at the disservice of Democrat interests. So it tends to give a little more authenticity to this report, which seems to be a little scathing on both sides of the political system. The president praised Ukraine's prosecutor general. They start talking about the embassy staff, problems there. We kind of want to get to the important stuff. A dozen White House officials who listened to the call, a mixture of policy officials and duty officers. The officials spoke to this officer because they were concerned. Then they talk about the cover-up, restricting access to the records. They seem to feel, White House lawyers seem to feel like right after the phone call that this was a major fuck-up, and so they moved it to a different secret server where like all of the secret, super secret stuff goes, which seems to be out of the norm for this type of phone call, they say. White House officials were directed by White House lawyers to remove the electronic transcripts from the computer system in which such transcripts are typically stored, classified and distributed. Instead, the transcript was loaded to a separate electronic system that is otherwise used to store and handle classified information, et cetera, et cetera. So there seems to be a cover-up. Is that really the case? How out of protocol is it? Given, all of the variables here, there is a strong, possibility, obviously, that they were trying to hide this information from, various FOIA requests and the like. Beginning in late March 2019, a series of articles appeared in an online publication. These articles named several Ukrainian officials, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see what else might be interesting in here. That might be kind of it. I think there were some more things, but nothing here is really up for contradiction. For the most part, we do get information on numerous Giuliani trips, and I think it's the involvement of the personal attorney that has no official title that is rather concerning here. Of course, this is the 9/11 Giuliani, which seemed to have been fairly complicit in that action. Everything says that this administration is turning out to be super bad news. And it's not just the Epstein links or the links to the Clintons or being a lifelong Democrat from New York or pushing the 5G or not building the wall and doubling, tripling immigration and perhaps cancer rates in this country. I mean, they've been really atrocious when it comes to safety standards. And I don't think you have to be an environmentalist to be concerned about reports like this where over 100,000 cancer cases linked just to the tap water, and they're just looking somewhere else. What are they caring about over there? Oil. They want to send your ass to the coal mine so that you can breathe in the fucking coal dust and keel over sooner than otherwise, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very disturbing situation. It's no better on the other side of the aisle. Don't mistake, this criticism for, affinity for the liberals out there. It's certainly not the case. We've talked about, this two-party system. They're really two wings to the same bird, and the left is worse than the conservatives. But I think that, if this president is, basically being so brazen when it comes to this, especially, right after the whole Russian thing, literally right after the Mueller report came out, what else are they doing? What aren't they doing? And I think actions speak louder than words. You can like what this president has to say, but you can also look at what the results have been. And, none of the people that were talked about in 2016 have been arrested. Not Comey, not Hillary, not, these other people that were basically linked to various crimes and conspiracies. Nobody associated with the Podesta files, the WikiLeaks, was arrested. Not Jimmy Comet, not Marina Abramovich, none of these Hollywood celebrities, none of these people tweeting about raping children, none of these artists that were basically portraying as much, none of the coup members of the FBI have been arrested. I would have to give this administration, a big fat F when it comes to fighting this new world order. You may like what they have to say when it comes to immigration and taxes and jobs and the economy, but when it comes to fighting the evil, the eugenics programs, the Gladio B events, they're not on board. They're not fucking on board. And so you'd have to be living, in the delusion to keep buying the bullshit. And, I think the Acosta situation really kind of kickstarted quite a bit of anxiety amongst Trump supporters. To see the pedophile prosecutor nominated and confirmed to be, Secretary of Labor for a couple of years and, being defended by this president and even playing dumb like he was a prosecutor from where? Miami. Oh, Miami. The whole thing stinks. The whole Epstein thing stinks. And you can see that they've stepped it up a notch ever since Epstein was arrested and whacked in prison. Never forget Epstein, Seth Rich, many of the other people on the body bag list. Breitbart, Hastings. Don't forget about Assange and the like. What's happening right now is criminal, to say the least. Now, we've got more news to cover. I'm sure we could, talk about the whistleblower report some more, but we do want to get into some more news. Now, it seems like the Paris authorities have raided a model agency that was linked to sex trafficking, most likely child sex trafficking. And you've got this other, designer, well-known. We're not sure who this, Metro is, but well-known. And he's basically putting on a fashion show for prostitutes right now. And everybody was celebrating that out there in the libtard Sodom and Gomorrah of Paris. Of course, many, many children were trafficked from Paris into New York through the guise and cover of modeling agencies, promised, big contracts, kind of like the Open Secret kind of thing. And if they put out, then they get, then they get the spot. And basically, what you're looking at is whores and prostitutes in high fashion clothing. And the only reason that they're on the catwalk is because they hoard out for the most part. That seems to be a very, standard thing in that industry, just like the movie industry, just like the music industry. And, if you're not willing to suck cock, if you will, you're just not gonna get the contracts and the like. So we're seeing some movement in that case. Of course, if you're just joining us, more than 100,000 cancer cases per year caused by contaminants in the tap water. From PFAS to hexachromate to lead, arsenic, pesticides, you name it, fluoride, of course. And they're obviously worried about, oil bitches. They want war and the like. Now, the big news right now is the upcoming impeachment of this president. It's finally going to happen. And this, of course, is after they shoot themselves in the foot And you just have to wonder, about this lifelong Democrat from New York. Was he set up, or is he that dumb, or that, overconfident? And you just can't rule anything out. He obviously has a real big ego. But impeachment seems to be on. Majority of House members now back impeachment of this president. So it's only going to get worse as these stories continue to unfold. We're just learning today that the government, no, it wasn't the government, but soon, OK hand gestures and bowl cuts are now added as hate symbol databases. Is that true or not? It is what you want it to be. That's basically how it works in the world. And, a peace sign can be a V sign. The middle finger can be, anything you want it to be. It's really a matter of interpretation and the like. We certainly know who the hostile people are out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's the ones that are kidnapping, raping, molesting, killing little children, calling it a choice or a lifestyle. And, we know who the evildoers are. We can tell them by their fruits. The ones that are selling out, for the dark side, the ones that are promoting evil in one fashion or another. And there certainly are many ways to be a Judas in disguise. And again, you can tell them by their fruits. If you're real strict when it comes to the Ten Commandments, as you should be, it makes it real easy to see who's walking the walk and who's just talking the talk out there. And remember that every person in the Bible has a following, good and bad. And there are plenty of anti-Christians out there, plenty of Judases in disguise, plenty of devil worshippers out there, and that really makes up, the simple or vast majority of people out there. And together they basically form this hive mind, or a dark matrix, if you will, working together, plotting your demise. And it's just like when you see something pro or anti-Trump or pro or anti, whatever your cause might be, you know which side you're going to be on automatically, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how, this hive mind works. They know what works for them and what doesn't. And if we were to take that a step further, it definitely looks like they live out there. It definitely looks like demonic possession, body snatching from another world that has taken over the vast majority of people out there. Some people want to debate, whether demons exist. From our experience, they're very real, ladies and gentlemen. And it's part of what you'll find in the jungle out there. But remember that, the tools that you're given in the Bible will help you through the worst of it. The truth will set you free. Doing the right thing for the right reason is all you really need to do out there. The darkness can't stand the light, and that's why they want to keep you in ignorance. They want to keep you in darkness. They want to censor and compartmentalize people out there. They don't want people being knowledgeable about anything, really. And it's that absence of knowledge, absence of light that keeps people in the dark, ladies and gentlemen. And of course that all leads to the dark side: sadness, anger, despair, traits of the dark side. And that's what this beast system promotes: fear, anger, sadness, and the like. Certainly a conversation for another day. But these cult members are everywhere. They're like a bunch of Charlie Manson groupies trying to destroy creation, trying to destroy the planet. They want to ban the Bible. And whether you're a believer or not, it doesn't really stop what this suicide cult is up to. And everyone is being victimized by this cult of death right now. And, our strongest recommendation out there is to arm up and, buy your sword, and to be as proficient with the Gospels as you possibly can be. And they're available on audio. Listen to them. Know them better than your favorite song. Know them better than your favorite movie, ladies and gentlemen, because it tells you everything you need to know about this world. It's your foundation. And it opens the doors to higher understanding, if you will. Leave doubt behind and watch the matrix change around you. Have no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. We truly are surrounded by the demonic, truly are surrounded by evil, and they're in control of this world. They're in control of government, television, corporations, music, movie industries. Everything you see on television, everything you define as this system, it's like the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. It's one big club, and we're not in it. And of course, it's only getting worse as time goes by. It won't be long before they're rolling out the Terminators, before they're plugging people into the Matrix. Ladies and gentlemen, they are a threat to humanity, and if we don't deport the libtards, then they will doom us all. They're like a virus. There's no stopping this virus without a quarantine, without treating it like an outbreak, and build it. We should be building walls around these sanctuary cities. We should be deporting libtards there and stripping them of their influence before it's too late. It all starts with civil disobedience, with silent protests. No army can stop an idea whose time has come. Bring it out into the real world. Take these ideas out into the real world. Talk to people about it. They certainly can't censor that, but don't waste your time with the black holes out there. There's plenty of them out there, and focus on people that are on the fence for the time being, and the young people. That's where the fight is at. That's why they're focusing on children and the like. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.